You are listening to Brink Radio.
What's happening, everybody? Of course, it's your host, Brink Young, coming straight out of them South Memphis slums. And you are tuning in to Brink Radio. We talking about Brink Radio, 96.3 FM. I'm your host, Brink Young, coming straight out of them South Memphis slums. Listen, we got a familiar face, but he coming back dolo this time. We talking about my guy, straight out of that 731, no other than the phenom himself of R&B. Sinsay, how you doing, family?
What's up now, Brink?
Hey, first and foremost, I got to say thanks for coming back on the show. It means a lot.
Yeah, thank you for having me back on the show.
No doubt, no doubt. Now let's talk about like the first time that you were on the show, man, because it was a tad bit different. You guys were actually promoting a film that was doing numbers on Tubi called The Sticks, and of course it's on other platforms as well. Mm-hmm. And you spoke about your role in that movie as well as being the lead singer on the soundtrack. You know what I'm saying? But now you back, you promoting your brand new project. Just came out. We're talking about Smile, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Smile is available right now on all streaming platforms at Sinsay 731.
Absolutely, and it's available right now. Now, let's talk about that lead single. It's actually the same title, Smile. Of course, we go be playing it on the show. We've been playing it. We'll go play it again tonight. But let's talk about that lead single, Smile, man.
Well, Smile, it was a record. One of them late nights, Genius was in the studio. He was making beats. He likes to go live and make his beats, and I'm sitting at work actually watching it. And I told him, I was like, well, send me that beat. And he kind of gave me you really want this beat because it's nothing like I'm normally doing. So he sent me the beat and I came up with the song. It was just like the chorus was just saying smile. So I came up with the song and I think it's got a really good message to it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a real upbeat, happy, easily listening song. You know what I'm saying? And I do agree it's not your traditional, music. Like you be coming with all kind of vibes though. I'm gonna be honest, man.
Yeah, I'm a songwriter and I'm a fan of all different type of music. So it's just whatever I'm feeling at that particular moment, that's what I'm gonna be doing. So
yeah. But let's continue to dissect this project, man, because you got a banger on there. I don't want to mess up her last name, but Imani, how do I pronounce the last name? Is it Lehua? Lehua. Okay. All Day.
Yeah, I didn't want to mess that one up myself.
I feel you, man, but the song is called All Day. Hey, I want it. Hey, that's a bold proclamation, man. Let's talk about that.
Actually, man, that's a funny record because that was actually the first record I recorded under 110.
Okay.
And I was in the process of teaching myself guitar at that moment.
Gotcha.
And I learned 3 chords on the guitar, and I made a track built around those 3 chords.
Yeah.
And it turned out real good. We recorded it. At first, I really didn't care for the record, but James was like, "Yeah, let's put this out."
Yeah.
And we put it out, and it's doing real good.
Hey, it's definitely a banger, man. Another song we got to talk about is that Voodoo. Now, I got to talk about these lyrics, man, because it say, "Girl, you got me bound, can't shake loose. Tried to leave, but my feet won't move. Voodoo, damn, that's heavy."
Yeah, it's heavy.
Let's talk about it, man.
Actually, that record was Jerron called me up and he was like, "I got this movie Betray, and I got this scene for this movie, and I need a song for this scene." And when he told me the scene, it kind of put me in mind of, I don't know if you know the Queen and Slim.
Okay, yeah,
the Queen and Slim movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of put myself like, if I was writing a song for that particular scene, this what would come from it. So
yeah,
we found the guitar riff and I wrote around the guitar riff, and it was just like those words just was coming to me. So.
Man, I'm trying to see what type of hole a woman got on you. Got you, man, your feet can't move. Wait a minute, man. Your
Somebody
feet
got hold of spaghetti.
Hey, we talking about cement shoes. My guy's not moving, but that's definitely a banger. Of course, we got to talk about Right Now. That's another song you got on the project. It's been 5 years and he still can't make a commitment. It's a lot of women who are dealing with this, and a lot of women, they basically getting their cake from one place and getting their ice cream from a whole nother place. Speak on that record, man.
I think, is in relationships, we all done been either on one side of that or the other one.
Yeah.
You could be the side guy and catch feelings. So you get into, hey, she gonna have to make a decision whether she either gonna stay there or we gonna continue to do this. So I think that's where that whole record came from.
And what's crazy about it is, you know, even if you the side piece or the side item, like people still get full off French fries. So you know what I'm saying? You got to make a decision, like the song say. Another jump you got, man. We talking about Running Out of Time. That's featuring Royal QD. She was on there blowing.
Yes,
I mean blowing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that song, man.
Well, actually, one of my coworkers, shout out to Hitman on the track. He made this track. He sent me the beat, and he was like, just see what you can come up with, and this is what I came up with too. And we look for a lot of females to actually get on the record. And I reached out to QD, and she pulled up to the record, and she was like, I remember I told her, I said, copy my cadence, and where I said him, you say her, and this, that, and the other. So she gets in the studio, and she basically changed my hook, changed everything. And she was just like, I said, hey, you changed the words. She came out and she was like, well, men be lying too. And this is the censored version because she said some choice words. She was like, men be lying too. So she changed it. It worked. Very good record. So I'm pleased with it.
Yeah, I got some dope chemistry together too, man. Could we expect more music, you know, from y'all in the future or what?
Well, she's family, so yeah, we should see a lot of music.
No doubt. And last but not least, a song that I want to mention, man. We got to talk about "Stay" because when I heard it, I was like, bro, this. I'm looking on my Apple Music to make sure that I'm looking at am I still on the right artist? You know what I'm saying? That's a beautiful country ballad, man.
Yes.
And when I heard the first line of it, I lost track of all the times the cops were called. I knew it was gonna be a banger as soon as I heard that. Let's talk about "Stay."
Well, we know relationships go through all type of stuff all the time. So "Stay" is like one of them records where like you at the last of it. So you got to, what can I say to her right now that's gonna make her not leave?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of men can relate to it. I think a lot of women can relate to being on the other side of this situation. So, and it's a very emotional record. So like it was one of them records like I felt it when I was recording it.
Yeah. That's one of them fall down to your knees begging records.
Oh yeah.
But it's country though. Like what put you in that bag, man?
Honestly, I was actually writing for another artist.
Okay.
I was writing some songs for another artist, and I wrote this song, and after I recorded the demo, I was like, I think I'm gonna keep this record. So that's how that all came about.
No doubt. And of course, there's many more songs on this project. It's available right now. The album is called "Smile." Now, one thing that I do want to talk about, man, it's not only available on digital streaming platforms, but you also got physical copies. You got thumb drives too, right?
Yeah. Physical copies, thumb drives, and I think we're going to do vinyls as well.
Let's talk about, explain your take on the importance of physical media in 2025.
Well, it's because, I come from a time where we actually, the streaming and stuff wasn't there. So we actually had to get out there and sell those products. And I think for people that really want stuff that they can actually see. Yeah. As we call them, tangible product.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, and just having those, to put back and collect and be like, they feel more of a part of it.
Right.
So, yeah.
I think it's incredible though, man, because to me, the era we in is all about content, but the era we come from was all about merchandise.
Yes.
I feel like, having the physical media is merchandise, like who doesn't want to have an autographed copy, because 20 years from now, they're going to be looking at it like, okay, this is vintage. I got the original, stuff like that. So I think it's incredible, man. And of course, that's a good way to stay intimate with your fan base. Once they just stream the music, that's it. You know what I'm saying? But they actually got a piece of you in their hand, pause. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's definitely available right now. Y'all reach out to him for the physical media. How could they get the physicals?
You can get the physicals at www.sinsay731.com.
Okay.
Or, call me up if you close and I can get to you. Yeah. I'll bring you a copy.
Hey, he go pull up with that Hey, them hits, man. He gonna bring it to you. So let's go ahead, since we talking about Jackson and the whole 731 movement. Let's talk about the R&B scene there, because obviously I've encountered and am humongous fans of a lot of rappers from the area, but R&B is not as prevalent, or maybe if it is, it hasn't made it to Memphis yet. Speak on it.
Well, the R&B scene, a lot of R&B artists, they really, you don't see enough of them because it's not enough. I don't think it's enough places that they can showcase R&B.
Yeah.
Now, we have shows every now and again that pop up that R&B artists are there, but like it's not really a lot of places for them to perform.
Yeah.
Other than karaoke night here and there.
Yeah. And it's crazy because it's like, how can you build a brand off of karaoke night?
Exactly.
Like, you need a venue, you need, places to actually perform. Why do you think that is in Jackson? Because I can understand that for the rap, because a lot of times rap shows may end in, some type of turmoil. But R&B is peaceful, it's love, it's vibes. Yeah. Like, why does it seem like it's not that type of? I
really can't answer that. You have some people that actually bring artists in.
Yeah.
But R&B really, it's like it's almost like real R&B is falling to the wayside because you got so much, so many other things.
Yeah.
It's more of a bluesy, soulful type crowds or whatever. So like real R&B, they're not really.
Do you ever feel the pressure to conform to what's quote unquote popular?
No.
Okay.
Because for me, it's always been about my art and what I want to do with the music. So I try not to even listen to too much stuff outside of what I'm doing.
Absolutely. And man, you've been, true to yourself and been doing your thing for quite some time, dog. Like, we can take it all the way back to Stacked Up Records. They dropped the album called Hood Noise back in the day, and you was on there. Like,
that was back when I really wasn't trying to be a solo artist. I would have been happy just producing beats and singing hooks.
Yeah.
So that's basically what I did for Stacked Up Records.
Yeah. But I remember you had that solo joint called Tell Me.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Tell Me was kind of personal.
Okay.
I think during that time I was kind of going through some things. So
yeah.
It's kind of a long story, but I don't want to get myself in trouble.
I know, right?
But Tell Me was a nice record.
Yeah. How did you get linked up with Stacked Up Records? Because I mean, they like their presence in Jackson was that was the move there. Like I met them, worked with them, did interviews with them back in my rookie year. You know what I'm saying? I was working with them.
Well, me and Legit, we went to school together.
Okay.
So we became real good friends, and actually the first time I ever was brought to the studio, he brought me to the studio.
Okay.
And I did a couple hooks for some other artists that came through, and eventually kind of worked my way up to the group.
Yeah.
Because I guess for a minute there, they was just looking at me, this boo little friend, we ain't even paying no attention to him. And I think I did a song with, I don't know if you remember, Scarface Lil J.
Okay, yeah.
I did a song with Scarface Lil J, and the song did really well, and everybody was like, man, who is that singing on the song? So they invited me into a session. I did the hook with them, and Hustler Slim was like, he said, we finna put this man on every one of our tracks from here on out. So
yeah,
that's how I became a part of it.
Man, see, I was trying to get on the, because back then they was doing the DVDs when I first met them. I was trying to get on, I think it was the Hustle and Grind DVD.
Hustle and Grind DVD.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely shout out to them, man. Shout out to my guy Spec. I call him Mr. Reeves, but shout out to my guy, man. It's always love. And I ain't gonna lie, dog, I wanted one of them Stacked Up Records chains. I wanted one of them.
I didn't even get a chance.
Hey, get my man his chain. But look, let's go ahead and get back into a few of the features, a few of the artists that you feature with, man. You've done a lot of work with my guy Killer Kid, obviously.
Yeah, that's bro.
And of course, label mate Smook Pearson, man. Let's talk about the relationship with those guys.
Man, Killer Kid, like I said, this my brother. We always kid around that if I was a rapper, I would be him. If he was a singer, he would be me. So there's just the chemistry between me and Killer is crazy. I've never been able to work with an artist like that to where they don't question what I come up with.
Yeah.
Like if I come up with something, he gonna roll off of it and it's gonna work.
Yeah.
It's never been no backlash.
Absolutely. And of course we gotta, talk about Smook.
Smook, yeah, I've been a fan of Smook like forever, and it just so happened we ended up on the same label. So I used to see him a lot performing when I first started performing in Jackson.
Yeah.
We used to see him. I just said, don't nobody want no problem with dude over here. But we ended up working together and cool now. So.
Yeah. Let's talk more about the Jackson scene though, because my introduction to Jackson was via the citywide talent shows back in the day. Obviously, and I don't think I mentioned his name on the last interview, but I mentioned on this one, Jay Bizzle. He was the one who used to have me out there as one of the special guest judges from time to time when they had the citywide talent shows. And I just remember there was so many people. Like, matter of fact, one of the ones that I judged, there was a R&B singer, male R&B singer who won. And it showed me back then, we're talking about all the way back in 2005, it showed me back then that Jackson got some heat. I didn't really know much about Jackson.
It's a lot of talent in the area, but I don't think they get enough places that they can actually showcase them talent.
Right.
So
I feel so bad that I can't remember their name. It was a duo out of Jackson. It was a boy and a girl. I remember seeing them on BT. Their video was on BT 106 and Park. I think the girl had passed. The Youngins. Yeah.
Yeah, the Youngins.
Yeah. So seeing stuff like that, it was proof back then that Jackson definitely had something. And I feel like they still do. And of course, every interview I have with artists from that area, I'm always asking, hey, how can we blow that door down or knock that wall down and, be premier artists from Jackson? Like, how can we make that happen?
I think it's going to take a lot of teamwork. I think a lot of people have to put their egos to the side and actually work together for a change.
Yeah.
So, everybody can't be the boss. Everybody, like I said, I know I'm not the best at what I do, and I know it takes a team, and so it's just trusting the people around you and just, everybody plays their role.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think we could do it.
Man, I think y'all can too.
I just think it just opened up the doors for everybody. So it's
and it's crazy because just about everybody who doing music know each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
or cross paths or done music or something.
Is that so many people are worried about who gets their foot in the door first.
Yeah.
So and it don't matter.
Yeah.
It don't matter as long as everybody eat. It's enough out here for everybody.
Man, somebody got to kick that door down. Yeah, for Jackson,
somebody got to kick that door down.
Somebody got to. And I'm going to be one of the biggest cheerleaders when it happened because, like I say, I've been saying since 2005, man, Jackson a gold mine. People in Memphis be like, what you talking about? Nah, Jackson a gold mine. I'm telling you. But
it's going to take, because we got our own sound. Memphis got their sound.
Yep.
Nashville got their sound. I always said we kind of like a
blend of both.
A blend of both.
Right.
And so we got our own sound.
Right. And then it's crazy. Like sometimes I feel like, whoever's in charge or the powers that be, politically, I feel like they probably just don't want it. They don't want the reputation of, being popular for rap music or R&B or whatever. It's like, it's so much censorship going on. I remember you guys have told me in times past that, radio stations have changed up on you and obviously venues have, all that. And I'm just like, dude, let these folks bump. Like, let them bump. Once y'all get a shot, dude, it's over. I'm telling you. And I personally, I wish there was more of a presence, label or music presence, like with the major companies, in our region, but it just ain't. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody is wherever they at, but they're not here. But let's talk about normal life, like regular life. But dog, I follow you on Instagram and Facebook, and I be tripping. Like, what you be having going on, man? You like a real comedian. Like,
oh man,
you wipe what you wiping Cheeto crumbs off a key?
between like work and job, So I got these kids.
Yeah,
that's like more than music, anything. My kids are everything. So.
Right.
But it's just, trying to find some humor in everyday life. And, nobody want to see, nobody want to be frowning all the time.
Yeah.
Smile.
Right, there you go, smile. Yeah.
So, it's my kids, my family. I like to cook.
Yeah.
So that's what basically, other than the music, outside of the music, that's the other side that I'm showing.
Yeah. And I love it, man, because you're showing so much personality that you have. And I feel like you gotta show it. You know what I mean? You gotta show it. Like, I be peeping and I be tripping. I'm like, that's the type of dad I want to be. You know, like, you think I'm finna let these kids win? Nope. You know, like you beating them and,
like
and
games
and all that,
and
you know.
These kids your kids are watching everything that you're doing.
Right.
And then I think a lot of people, my presence there, I think is really important to me.
Yeah.
So just, and being able to still be present for them and still be able to live my dreams and still provide for them.
Yeah.
This means a lot to me. I'm blessed. So
absolutely. What we about to do right now, man, I'm going to go ahead and allow you to introduce your single to the world, man. Let them know.
All right, here we go. This is Smile. My release off the album Smile, which can be found on all streaming platforms at Sinsay 731, or you can buy the album at www.sinsay731.com.
You are listening to Brink Radio.
And of course, we back. We're talking about Brink Radio right here on 96.3 FM. I'm your host, Brink Young, coming straight out of them South Memphis slums. You just heard Smile by my guy Sinsay. It's available right now, all streaming platforms. And make sure you get you a physical copy of that album. You got to support my guy. You understand me? He understand the assignment, and y'all need to vibe to his music. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, man. So Sinsay, we got to talk, man. You actually from, originally from Bolivar,
From Bolivar,
moved, kind of been back and forth a little bit with, you said Jackson and Lexington.
Bolivar, I've lived in Lexington and other different places. So.
All right, so if we can get into background, man, what was it like coming up in the whole 731 area for you? Like growing up, what was it like?
Well, it was cool. We had everything. Bolivar, basketball kind of was everything.
Yeah.
So all my friends played ball, and so people that doing music at the time was kind of just like, they kind of pushed them to the side. It was kind of weird. It was kind of different. So it wasn't like everybody now is everybody wants to be a rapper. Everybody. Right. So we was kind of looked at like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And it's crazy to think that like now you have at least 5 rappers on every block, when back then you probably had one rapper in every neighborhood.
It wasn't nobody but us. You know what I'm saying?
So
it was, we were the one doing the music, so it wasn't nobody. So when everybody got to start doing music, I remember they used to come to us to do music.
Yeah.
So,
what age did you know that, damn, I can actually sing? Like, this is a real thing for me?
I think I was probably around maybe 8th, 9th grade.
Okay.
And I think we was riding home from church. It was like we had church choir or something like that, and we was riding home, and the lady we was riding with, she was playing songs off of the radio, Kicks 96. Shouts out to Kicks 96.
Yeah, I remember them. Yeah.
And we was singing along songs to the radio, and it was a young lady that was riding in the car with us, and she paid attention, and the next day when we got to school, that's all she was talking about. Yeah. So, I never had a shot with her at first until that day. So that was kind of when I knew that, it's something a little special.
So you mean to tell me you sitting on a cheat code the whole time?
Man, the whole time. Yeah.
That's dope, man. So I remember seeing something from way back, and I just wanted to kind of get some clarification on it. There was some type of BT Blaze the Stage type showcase or something like that back in the day. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that, man.
Well, that was like one of the first times when I first started performing solo.
Okay.
When I first stepped out as a solo artist. So that was one of the first performances that I did. And I remember I was one of I maybe the second or the third person to perform.
Yeah.
And I remember my homeboy dad was in the audience, and he was just like, he said, "Well, show over now." You know what I'm saying? I didn't end up winning that day, but I think I did show people that I'm coming with something that's different and it's special, so you can pay attention. So
you did mention like actually having to go solo. Like, Was there any nerves behind going solo? Because you was used to kind of being a part of a group or being affiliated with a crew.
No, I don't think it was any nerves behind it. It was just the feeling like I wouldn't have the same support.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing about it. So.
Yeah. But did you end up getting the same support or what?
I end up getting better support.
That's what I'm talking about.
So it was a lot of times I feel like sometimes when you're rolling with a whole lot of people, it kind of takes a lot of the attention off of you. So.
Yeah. No doubt, man. So it's time to go ahead and get into all your social media, man. Let the people know how they can stay tapped in with you, family.
Okay, you can find me on social media at Sinsay731. That's Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Absolutely. I got to say thanks for being a guest on the show, man. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, everybody on the sound of my voice, make sure y'all check out Smiles, available all streaming platforms. He also has vinyl coming soon. He's got physical CDs. He's got thumb drives. Hey, all you need, he got you. And he bringing the vibes. Make sure y'all check him out. But thanks again for being a guest, family.
I appreciate you, Brink, for having me.
No doubt. With that being said, now back to Brink Radio. Don't move.